Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. All right. We've had a little technical difficulties here at the beginning. Don't worry, I'll get to the funny stuff. But I need to double check to make sure that the audio is synced. Don't worry, I'll get to the funny. All right. Yep, it is. Excellent work, EK. Excellent work. And you got the reverberation in there. Excellent work, buddy. You know, you buy some equipment to, do your work on. Then you get an automatic update. And now your camera doesn't work anymore. All right. It's a real racket, this tech for all these hobbies we have that we're trying to turn into careers. Anyway, obviously this is Shock Monkey Radio. The camera's in a weird place. I got to look over here to the monitor. And now I look weird. And it's only 6 inches higher. And it's freaking me out.
So
I know. It feels so different. I'm gonna feel weird editing this video. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, probably. Because I celebrate Wednesday nights because it's a long day for me on Wednesdays. It's a long day for EK2. So thanks to all of his hard work behind the scenes. Technically, I was thinking about this because, things going on, it's not really my show. It's technically EK's show. He's just like, I don't feel like doing it, but if you want to, go ahead. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So, thank you, EK.
It became your show a long time.
Yeah, but I kind of took it over even back in the early days. So anyway, because I'm the man. All right, let's do it. Let's go into the cold open I was going to go with. I can't fight this feeling anymore. I am so angry at Alexa, but I'm going to keep on loving you. But you got to take it on the run, baby, because you would not believe how many Oreo cookie ads I have been getting since I asked Alexa to play REO Speedwagon songs. Or perhaps I shouldn't try to talk to Alexa when I'm drunk. Next time, I should just ride the storm out. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. Where's the camera? It's up there. The old camera's still over there, so I'm looking at that. And anyway, I don't like looking at the camera anyway. It feels weird. It makes it feel more like I'm talking to myself. Yes, I'm the Madman. This is Shock Monkey Radio. I want to remind you that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio and become a patron. I would appreciate that very much. You can become an executive producer if you want. You can advertise here. There's a bunch of different levels you can get involved in. You can just be a regular old Shock Monkey, $3 a month, lowest tier. You can also send me cash one time. Make sure it's, if you're worried about tax, $599 or less. Cash tag Shock Monkey Radio. I got to check with my accountant, but this might bump me up into a higher tax bracket. Follow me on Twitter, on social media at Denalitsaw, which is the word wasteland spelled backwards. I was a big into T.S. Eliot back then. Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook, and at SLRobbins13 on Instagram. I also have books available for digital download on Amazon.com. Search for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's. I got the Exit 13 books, The Ravings of a Madman, and The Bunny Years, a memoir. Go check them out. I bet you read the descriptions. I bet you'll find one that it will strike your fancy. Just if you're doing the Exit 13 books, make sure you get them in order. Okay. This camera's throwing me off. Okay. I want to say that I spoke with Scott Wharton last week, and we're talking about maybe doing some more Scott versus Scott. So if you're a fan of my show or his, go into the comments of one of the videos that we've done, Scott versus Scott, and say, this is what I liked. I wish you did more of this. Because maybe we could accommodate you. So I'd love to have any feedback if you're a fan of the Scott versus Scott things. Because I think there's a little bit of crossover in our audiences. Scott Wharton is a comedian that used to be here at FXBG Public Radio, but now he's down in Texas, traveling all over the world, living the good life, showing up on people's podcasts I never heard of. We have way more subscribers than me, and I'm like, wow, that's far out. Hey, pull that shit up, Jamie. Yeah, he hasn't been on Rogan yet, but EK looked at me like, come on. He hadn't been on Rogan yet. All right. So keep a lookout. We might have some more Scott versus Scott coming up. I rewatched a couple, and I was just like, because I'm doing it at my home studio, I'm smoking, so I'll sit there and do an hour video with Scott, and I smoked 6 cigarettes during the entire show. It's like I cannot believe how many cigarettes I smoked. Because when I'm talking, I get real nervous. You know how like a lot of smokers they do it because they're nervous when they talk. You know, it's kind of a affectation. It's not affectation is the wrong word. It's like a defense mechanism. I don't know. Anyway. Hi, Louder with where's the camera up there? Hi, Louder with Crowder. If anyone from your team's watching, I sent you guys an email yesterday. I don't know if you keep up with conservative drama, but and I don't want to get into the details of it because I don't really have that whole lot of details. Just a lot of what Crowder said in his video yesterday that came on at 1 p.m. Eastern, and talked about some crazy stuff about contracts and so forth. And I don't like contracts. I feel like Garth in Wayne's World. It's like, you ever see that Twilight Zone episode where the guy signed a contract and the guy cut off his tongue and it didn't die, it just grew and gave birth and pulsated and gave birth to baby tongues? Pretty cool, right? And then he gets up and that's when he dropped the pen and he comes back up to the table. That's what I feel like when it comes to contracts anyway. They're going to cut out your tongue, Stephen. I get it. But here's the thing. You could just, if it's a deal you're trying to work with somebody, I think you should just outright deny the contract, reject the contract. That's in your right. Instead of bringing the drama onto the internet. Instead, you can outright reject the contract and then talk about the subject in a not so aggressive way. That's just something I'm thinking that I would do. If I had a disagreement with EK, I wouldn't bring it here onto this channel, is what I mean. You know, because he's a business partner. You know, and there's been other artists that I've worked with, and if they came to me with you know, a contract like Steven Crowder, I'd laugh in their face. Do it Luke Rudkowski said, take a dump on it. You know, and so all I really know is what Crowder said and what Tim Pool and company talked about last night. All right, and so this is just information I've been assimilating today, you know, in the last 24 hours. So what do I know about it? However, I did send Louder with Crowder an email saying, hey, you know, check out my channel. See, any help would be appreciated. You know, even if it's just advice, it's like, you need a better host. You need somebody who's good looking and could talk well without coughing every 5 minutes. Now, that's fair enough, but I mean, don't make it so obvious. You know, put a little work and effort into it. You know, I could figure that out. What do I need Crowder for? But yes, please notice me, Louder with Crowder. Yeah, and that's all I really want to say about that because when he was reading that contract, I was like, you know, if someone came to me with a big chunk of money, EK, said, here's $10 million and a contract like that, I'd be stupid enough to go for it. You know, I'm that broke. And so, I mean, it's scary to me, and I understand what Crowder is doing. I don't think it's necessarily the best way to do it. And I was joking with EK. He's like, friggin' Canadians. You know, he grew up in Montreal.
Look, if he's hiring.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't
get me wrong. If this show disappears next week, check louderwithcrowder.com for a byline by Scott L. Robbins or the Madman. All right, because if he I don't want to lowball him or highball him or lowball him. If he offered me, say, I don't know, $90,000 a year to come write for Louder with Crowder, I'm sorry, I'm taking it. You know, I could afford a family with that kind of money, and I would rather just write and say, keep my ugly mug off the internet, and I could probably do this anyway if in my own time,
just be on a different platform.
because considering the way Crowder rolls. Anyway, so I know we're taking up a lot of time with this. Believe me, I did have enough to say this week, but I'm going to skip a couple of topics. I was going to talk about my favorite pistol because I had some interesting conversations this past week and with some other Christian friends, and you know. And I came to the conclusion, pray for Bigfoot. I think we should all pray for Bigfoot. Now, listen, I'm not trying to make a mockery of prayer or religion or anything like that, or people's souls, but I think we all should pray for Bigfoot. After all, if, like, say all dogs go to heaven. If all dogs go to heaven, can one assume that every creature on the way up between, man and, human, or animal and human, also goes to heaven? So, like, unfortunately, there'd be horses in heaven, and I don't necessarily think that that would be heaven if there were horses in heaven. But what I mean is that if if Bigfoot is like the missing link between like Neanderthal man and modern man, what are we, Homo sapiens, right? So, I mean, if that's a missing link, it's like, should we not be concerned for the soul of Bigfoot? For every Sasquatch or Yeti? You know, I think that we should. It was like, why hasn't Wendigoon gone out into the British Columbia with his Bible trying to, you know, bring the redeeming power of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to Bigfoot? I think that should happen. I think that somebody out there should be trying to witness to Bigfoot. Imagine having that guy on our side. God wants that guy on our side. You know why? Because God made him just as well as he made us. So I think it is important for us to be concerned about the soul of Bigfoot. All right? If your dog gets sick, would you pray on behalf of your sick dog? Hell yeah, you would.
Because all dogs go to heaven.
So what, do you think that because all dogs go to heaven that you don't have to pray for them?
That's why you do pray for them.
That's why you do pray for them. Because they go to heaven. And they're going to be there before you. And so they're going to put in a good word for you with the big guy. So I'm saying we need to be praying to Bigfoot. We need to be witnessing to Bigfoot and aliens. And aliens, if an alien comes down and gets out of his craft and he's like, I could communicate telepathically with you. And you're like, oh, have you heard the good news of the word of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? You know, maybe that's why they don't approach us that way. Maybe that's why they abduct us in the middle of the night and play with our buttholes or something like that.
It's all about God, though, if they had telepathic powers. Because the second they got here, they'd go to somebody's head and they'd be like, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
Right. They'd be terrified if they came to this planet. But there's a different angle to that kind of concept, which is that when Jesus said he's going to go and like witness to other flocks and stuff like that, maybe he went to other planets, right? And these other planets like heard the word of Jesus Christ, and they're like, we got to go check out the planet where this guy came from. And then they come to Earth and they're like, whoa. They're scanning our minds. They're scanning our media and stuff like that. And like, these people are insane. How did this guy come from this planet? You know, that could be what aliens are doing. They're sitting there like, oh, what? From these dirt creatures? These dirt monkeys? Yes, Jesus, the dirt monkey. And that's why we need to be worried about the dirt monkey known as Bigfoot. For the snow monkey known as the Yeti. We need to be concerned about the souls of these things. After all, if I'm right that Bigfoot exists, then we're doing the right thing on behalf of Bigfoot. If Bigfoot doesn't exist, then that's just going to give God a good giggle. Oh, I did alliteration there at the end. Oh, cool. It's almost like I practiced it in the car on the way over here. All right. Yeah, I was going to rant about the government again. Government's too damn big. And that was like going to be the gist of a long rant I have about that and entropy, and our founding fathers knew that. Anyway, so I'm going to skip that one. Maybe do it another time, or, you know, inevitably I'm going to do that one again. But I do want to talk about one more thing before we get into the news worth knowing. And that is that I've been following Britney Spears on Instagram. And I heard from another creator, I'm not going to mention them, but that, you know, you really should check out Britney Spears' Instagram because she is... and I don't want to imply that, you know, that she is really hot or anything like that. I want to imply that she is really a hot mess, you know? And I mean, she is good looking. She is still hot and stuff like that. But I mean, her Instagram is just bizarre. And in many ways, I found it to be like the best argument for the conservatorship. Not that I think the conservatorship was the right thing for Britney Spears. All right. But I do understand is like, because she has photos that are all but nudes, you know, up there, and some video, you know, and if her father must cry just thinking about that Instagram account. Additionally, it's interesting because when Britney Spears came out, you know, she was like 16 or 17 and I was like 19 and I was like, ugh, you know, I shouldn't be finding this attractive, you know, but I'm a man after all, you know, not much of one, but still a man. And so I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, I think around that time I was like 19. I was about to go in the Navy. And so, I had other pressing matters to deal with than wondering, if it's okay for me to find Britney Spears attractive. But here I am, 45 years old, and I think she's just crossed 40 or something like that. And I'm just like, hey, you're in my range, I suppose. And the simple fact that I discovered how crazy she is somehow has made her more attractive to me. It's almost like I can understand those women who date these real loser guys. And they're like, because they get that idea in their head, like, oh, I can fix this hot mess. But I mean, it's arrogant to think that. It really is arrogant to think that I could fix Britney Spears. That, you can't fix people. People can only fix themselves. And that's kind of the point, and so, when it comes to her Instagram, it's like, there is normal stuff. There is normal, like, white girl Instagrams, like Bo Burnham might say. There's like inspirational quotes, and memes and stuff like that. And, here's a pretty picture of this awesome place I've been to. I mean, there's normal stuff on there, but then there's just her on a beach, bare naked with, just a couple of things covering certain parts of her body. The video of her dancing in a Coca-Cola bikini or something like that. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, she really loves dancing. Could you imagine dating somebody like that who really loves dancing that much? It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm playing this casino game I really like. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go dance. Have fun, I guess. Or like, say you wake up in the morning, right? You wake up in the morning to some music, right? And you peer out one eye and you see Britney with a ring light like that one up there, and her phone on a stand, and this music playing from her phone, and she's filming herself dancing in different dresses and playing with her hair, and like, and so it just goes to show you, you shouldn't meet your heroes. You shouldn't meet your heroes. Not saying that Britney Spears is my hero, but it's how can I put this? It's like that time I built that time machine when I was 22 years old. And I went back in time to 1986 because I wanted to meet Freddie Mercury. And so, but when I met Freddie Mercury, he's like coming on to me. He's half drunk. He stinks of beer. He's sweating all over me. Grabbed my ass. And, Roger Taylor had to come up. Leave the lad alone. Leave the lad alone. He's clearly not interested. Clearly not interested. Leave the lad alone. And that's very much what it is. It's like, you don't necessarily want to meet them because, it's like any hero, any sports hero, any like Norm Macdonald is a hero of mine. But if I met him, he could have been a dick to me, because a lot of people have run across Norm Macdonald and he's been a dick to them. Okay. So what I mean is that you shouldn't really know your artists in many ways. You shouldn't know too much about them. I like the days of the record album where you could just read the liner notes. You could read the interviews in Spin Magazine and Rolling Stone Magazine or whatever publication, Cream, whatever you were listening to, reading, I'm sorry. But now with this social media and stuff, you get like an inside look into Britney's crazy ass life. And in some ways also an insight into her mind, and it's similar to Kanye West. I keep doing that. I keep calling him Kanye West. It's just like Kanye West. It's like, who can wrangle Kanye West? Who can wrangle Britney Spears without something like, I don't know, a conservatorship? Not saying that that's the right thing. But at the same time, it's like, whew, what a hot mess. What a hot mess. Britney. Call me, baby. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news worth knowing. Do a shorter show. Hey, we're right about halfway till 3 o'clock. What time is it? UK's in the other room, so we don't get the... Oh, he's coming. He's going to do the news worth knowing. All right, we got to talk about this stuff again. I swear I'm getting less and less interested in like important news stories. And it's kind of why I was talking about like with Crowder. And if I decide with like between different factions of conservatives, I'm going to go with the people who make me laugh the most. and that is a tight race between Crowder and Matt Walsh. And so whoever makes me laugh loudest and longest is usually I got their back. So because I can't get through the news without bringing my sense of humor into play. Because when you're like some of these other conservative guys who just read the news, wrote, and there's very little emotion or humor involved, it's just like, I don't know, I'm feeling a lot of things. But anyway, we're not going to talk about how I feel about it anyway. Top Republican torches Hunter Biden wrinkle in docs probe. We're looking into that. So this is House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer questioned first son Hunter Biden's purported ties to his father's Newcastle County, Delaware home where classified documents were found. On Hannity, host Sean Hannity, no kidding, cited reports Hunter used the Barley Mill Road address of President Biden's Wilmington area home on his own official forms, including a background check document and his credit card account in 2018. Hannity cited that he reported, it's not $50,000, it was $49,910 rent per month, remarking that such a sum would be a realistic amount for private real estate in Florida, California, but not necessarily in Wilmington's, albeit Tony, Greenville suburb. I hope that's a typo and not me missing out on some new colloquialism. Anyway, yeah, that doesn't make sense. We're looking into that, Comer responded, adding the revelation is just one reason that his panel is requesting blank records and wants more information on Hunter's reported suspicious activity reports from the U.S. Treasury. All right. These reports include large cash transactions or transfers above $5,000, Reuters reported. Such reports could indicate fraud or money laundering, or they could also be entirely legal. Anyway, so... You know, it's funny because you need a big burly guy to kick down the door, but you need some nerd with a pocket calculator and pocket protector to find out in the line item of the ledger where you committed the crime. It's funny how it works like that. But hey, you know, it allows accuracy and specificity and convictions. It allows for convictions. You know, because any idiot can break down a door, but why'd you break down the door? And you start filming the guy. Why'd you break into my house? Oh, boy. We're breaking some amendments here. Yeah, so, look, I think I mentioned it last week that, you know, any classified information I had on me when I left the Navy, you know, not like they searched my stuff or anything like that. Because I don't think they necessarily do that, and that's how people get away with this stuff. And so, but if I had been caught with any of that, or you know, more specifically using any of it, you know, then I'm going to jail. You know, but these guys are boxes and boxes. Even Trump, and I'll be honest with you, you know, if we got to take Trump down to take Biden down, fine with me, because I don't think any president should be doing this, and apparently presidents have been doing it for a long time. Is that bipartisan enough for everybody? Anyway, and I mean, obviously Hunter Biden was money laundering. Have you seen that art? It's awful. Who would pay? Anyway, unless you're money laundering. Ah, geez, don't people know how money laundering works? You know? It's like it's like that scene in Office Space where they look up money laundering in a dictionary. And it's like, that's all anybody understands of it, is the definition of the dictionary. They don't know how you do it. And then they watch Breaking Bad and they're like, oh, you buy a car wash. Or a recording studio. EK said that, not me. Anyway. All right, let's go to this next news story. Have the lambs stopped screaming, Clarice? You know, I called it on these Idaho murders. I really did. I called it. Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger allegedly spammed one victim with Instagram DMs. Look, you slide into the DMs. You don't kick your way into the DMs. That's when you get a DM shotgun to the face. I don't know what exactly that is. I'm sure there's an app for that. Anyway, So Brian Koberger, the criminology PhD student, they always got to add that. It's like, by the way, he studied this stuff. Accused of ambushing a group of University of Idaho undergrads in November, allegedly sent one of the 4 victims a series of private messages on Instagram before the slayings, according to a new report. He slid into, no, he did not. This is a quote, though. He slid into one of the girls' DMs several times, but she didn't respond. If she doesn't respond, he didn't slide in. I mean, am I unclear about how this works?
I tend to agree.
Yeah, EK agrees. But I mean,
Sliding in is more discreet.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like EK and I, there's girls I'm sure that you've tried to slide into DMs, and if they don't respond, you're like, okay, yeah, in a transaction. But he was, the quote is like, basically it was just him. He was saying, how are you? But he did it again and again, over and over. How are you? How are you doing? What's up? Over and over again. The FBI, which assisted Moscow, Idaho police in trailing Koberger from his apartment in Pullman, Washington to his parents' house in Pennsylvania, Poconos Mountains, did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. So I'm spitting everywhere. Fox News Digital was unable to confirm the reporting independently. Great. What did I just read then? The new allegation comes in details of the case subject to gag order, and officials have made a few public statements since Koberger's arrest on the 30th of December. Koberger reportedly sent the first messages in October, then a series of follow-ups when he did not receive a response. All right, and you know what he did. He snuck in the home, and anyway. Rejection's a hell of a thing, ain't it? Especially when you're that, that age. Those early 20s, man. I had so much testosterone. I guess I'm lucky that I'm at like 45. I got so much less testosterone, and I'm not thinking of women all the time. So much that, I've been freed up to be, I'm losing testosterone. Oh, I'll write a couple books. I'll do a video show. Hey, I'm free to think my own thoughts and not being ruled by my testicles. Anyway, but I called it on this guy. He was interested, but I guess he just wanted to kill one. You got to kill everyone there. Boy, jeez. Awful, awful world we live in. All right, one more bummer story, and then we'll head into some more fun territory. UN envoy thanks Hezbollah terror group. Draws rebuke from Israeli officials. United Nations official on Monday thanked representative of Hezbollah for giving her a tour de horizon of Lebanese issues, drawing a rebuke from Israeli officials. Joanna Roneka, cool name, the UN Special Coordinator for Lebanon, tweeted her thanks to MR Massawi, head of the International Relations for Hezbollah, which is designated as a terror organization by the State Department. That's the U.S. State Department. I think that's relevant. You should because she's UN. Anyway, I thank Mr. MR. This is the tweet. MR Massawi of Hezbollah, S-I-C, spelling in check. She's H-I-Z, Bullah, for a tour de horizon. I don't know. I didn't grow up in Montreal. On issues of priorities for #Lebanon, including the election of a new president, the functioning of state institutions, and the impact of regional and international developments on the country, she wrote. I'm spitting over here like, what was that video? Freddie Mercury and Don't Stop Me Now? He's spitting everywhere in that. Anyway. And, quote, "Is this real?" wrote Joshua Zarka, head of strategic affairs in Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. An official senior UN representative thinks a terrorist organization responsible for the murder of a UN peacekeeper for a toward the horizon. So how does it feel to be indoctrinated by a terrorist? Care to share with us? Asked Yaki Lopez, head of public diplomacy at Israel's embassy in Berlin. Oh, boy. When are people going to learn that, just because Twitter allows these people on there doesn't mean it's okay to interact with them? And that's what Twitter's like, and any of these social media companies are like. They allow, like Hezbollah is on Twitter, but, they'll ban people for talking about, the CDC or something. It's ridiculous. Hezbollah is an evil organization. And if you can't understand that, then you don't know enough about the subject. You should do some research. And it's unfortunate that Hezbollah has like all these, they're infiltrated so many different countries in the region, and they're influencing governments of those countries. It's like Cobra from G.I. Joe. Seriously. The whole idea in G.I. Joe of Cobra is an organization like Hezbollah. Okay? But instead of snakes, it's, I don't know. All right, last bummer story. Let's have some fun, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas style. Let's have some fun with these last news stories. Man in stolen tractor leads police on an hours-long chase, hitting a dumpster in a church. You know, I did do that in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So not far from us, a North Carolina man sent police officers on a wild goose chase Tuesday morning, igniting a police chase with a stolen John Deere tractor. And portions of the incident went viral on social media. I am so glad that cameras are everywhere. I know it's a spy in every home and everything like that, but because you can get video of stuff like this, it's kind of worth it, you know? Anyway, so what a day, quote, what a day. So many of you have heard or have seen in the videos that we got in a pursuit with a tractor, Police Chief Andy LeBeau wrote on Facebook. Journalist Jeremy Markovich tweeted the video on Tuesday, noting that the Boone police chase topped out at 20 miles per hour. There was a police chase this morning in Boone involving a John Deere tractor that lasted more than an hour and topped out at 20 miles per hour. And yes, there is video, he wrote Tuesday. Officers were alerted to a tractor driving erratically in a local parking lot, according to a local affiliate of WBTV. The driver of the tractor hit several vehicles, a dumpster, and a church. Okay, so if you saw a tractor driving erratically in a parking lot or something like that, do you think that would be cause for alarm? Like if somebody's just doing donuts in a tractor in a parking lot, but then all of a sudden he hits a church, or a dumpster in a church, then you call the police? At what point do you call the cops? That's my question. LeBeau also wrote on Facebook, we're still trying to sort it all out. The chase lasted several miles over the course of about 1 hour. Is it 1 hour or more than an hour? Anyway, when the driver who was swerving into oncoming traffic was headed near a local school, police officers knew they needed to act quickly. The officers used stop sticks. When those proved ineffective, they shot the tire out of the tractor. The tires of those things are so thick that the stop sticks did nothing. Wow. After a few miles of driving without a front tire, Mr. Hicks turned onto a private drive and ran out of road. Police department said on Facebook. The driver, Ronnie Hicks, exited the tractor wielding a knife and subsequently was tased by a police officer. And you used it twice. You can't use subsequently twice. And was subsequently taken into custody. That's cheating, Fox News. You're cheating. Sorry. English professor coming out on me. No officers or Hicks were injured in the encounter. So, hey, that's awesome. Nobody really got hurt. Officers from the Watauga County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina State Highway Patrol also assisted Boone police in the chase. The investigation of the incident remains ongoing. Markovich, who tweeted the video of the incident, who cares about that? I can't believe the stop sticks didn't do nothing. And they only shot out a front tire. It seems to me, I find it strange that he exited carrying a knife. I mean, I would kind of expect like a country boy to, all right, I had my fun. Come and arrest me, Jim Bob. Come and arrest me. Go no further. Or maybe it was like that, the cop, he steps out with a knife and goes, Jim Bob, you best drop that knife. You best drop that knife. I'm gonna tell your mom. I'm gonna shoot you, and then I'm gonna go straight to your mother's house and apologize to her for you being a dumbass. I bet that's how it should have gone down. That's why I wouldn't be a cop. I'd be trying to make everyone laugh.
I hope somewhere in America that's happened. I hope that.
You can't really like that one. You can't really like that one. See, I like to bring it up here at the end, you know. So let's go on to this next story. Hawaii fisherman missing. Went overboard after hooking tuna and telling a friend this fish is huge. U.S. Coast Guard and Hawaii County Fire Department are searching for a fisherman who went overboard on Sunday morning after hooking a massive ahi, or tuna, according to officials. Mark Niddle, 63 years old, was fishing with a friend on a boat about 4 miles off the coast of Hawaiian words. Ho-now-now? Sorry, Hawaii. Sorry. Around 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. Oh, man, 5 a.m. The friend heard Niddle say, the fish is huge, and then saw Niddle go overboard in the water. Hawaii Police Department said. Niddle's friend, nice beard, bro. Niddle's friend attempted to grab the line and jumped in after him, but the 63-year-old man disappeared from the surface within seconds, according to the police. Niddle's about 185 pounds, 5 feet 10. He has curly brown hair and white mustache and beard, and is last seen wearing dark shorts and a dark shirt, according to the Coast Guard. Rescue personnel will search for the area for 72 hours. Ahi, yellow blue fish that are found around the globe, tropical and subtropical oceans, around the globe. They can grow up to be about 400 pounds. So definitely could pull a guy, even my size, into the water. He's 63 years old. He's got that great white beard, and I could just see him underwater, reeling that. I'm gonna get you. You know, it's in many ways it's a good death. You know. And I know it's a tragedy and everything. We should be serious about the tragedy. Someone who lost their life. Possibly. That's why they gave a description, because he could show up on the shore tomorrow morning or something like that. Oh, I was that close to him, and then the line broke, you know? So, I mean, there's still hope, because, I mean, but in many ways, it could be a good death. You know, doing what you love, fishing. I don't know. It's not all bad, you know. I mean, you know, you could say that, oh, you're talking about somebody's death, and I was like, no, man. Guy was fishing. Who knows? You know, 40 days from now, he might be spit up on some beach and come back with this story. It's like, I got to go to Nineveh. That's a deep cut Bible reference for you. All right, so what was Nineveh? The Persians? Anyway. Last story here. Amazon delivery driver shares harrowing ordeal after falling 13 feet into a septic tank. Amazon driver Charles Amacangelo, forgive me if I got that wrong, recounted a terrifying moment after he recently fell 13 feet into a septic tank while delivering a package in Apple Valley, California. Amacangelo said he noticed a hole in the ground and he approached the customer's property, and on the way back to his truck, the ground underneath him suddenly gave way. Curiosity kills the cat. Quote, even though I kept a bit of distance from the hole, I still managed to fall in because of the ground collapsing under my feet. He explained Tuesday on Tucker Carlson tonight. Is that all I need to do to get on Tucker Carlson, is fall in a hole? Yeah. What the hell? Oh, that baby Jessica thing. I get it. Anyway. In a viral video, Amacangelo is seen standing surrounded by clay-colored dirt and large roots. Oh, poor guy. I tried using these roots around me to get out, but it just pulled more dirt on top of me. I just called dispatch, and hopefully they're going to get the cops or the fire department here, because I definitely don't want to try climbing out on my own again. After he was rescued, Amacangelo went home, took a shower, and went right back to work. What a trooper.
I don't think he had a choice.
EK says he doesn't think he had a choice. And that's possible, but, you know, not everyone has had EK's experiences. And, you know, host Tucker Carlson asked if he considered calling it a day and having a beer instead of returning to work. I did consider it, Amacangelo responded. However, he shared that he was taught to always accomplish his mission in the Marine Corps, and that played a big part in his decision to go to work. It could have been his bosses too, for all we know. It's like because I'm a Marine. If you ask a Marine, if you've known Marines, it's because I'm a Marine. That's why.
Oh, so you were ordered to do it?
Yeah, because I was ordered to do
Got
it. A quote. Another thing that I had not completed my route, or attempted to at least. Other drivers who had already been out there or done their entire routes would get stuck having to finish his route, he said. And I just didn't think that'd be fair to them either. But I did voluntarily offer to take my route. But they did. But I did voluntarily offer to take my route. So he was worried about other people who had to, like, pick up his slack. Marine. And, you know, I think Jordan Peterson would say, hey, you know, that's a good job. That's what you need to do. Instead of sitting there, you know, trying to blame. It's like, oh, I shouldn't get up and go back to work because I fell in a hole today. You know, you got something great to talk about at work. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron. I would appreciate that very much. You know, you can get involved. You know, the associate producer and the executive producer, you know, you can get involved. You can make memes for us, and we'll put them up on the show and stuff like that. I'll use them on social media and stuff like that. We can do, yeah, you can get involved. You can write segments if you want. You know, it's like, hey, Madman, talk about this. And I'll probably talk about it, especially if you're an associate or executive producer. Especially if you're an executive producer. Anyway, go check it out. You can also advertise here. I also have a Cash App. Hashtag me at hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Follow me on social media at Denalitsaw, which is the word wasteland spelled backwards, on Twitter. Shockmonkey Radio Redux on Facebook. And SLRobbins13 on Instagram. I got to keep looking at the screen when I read that because I don't forget. I don't remember my accounts. I don't even. I'm not going to say that second part. The security reasons. You understand. Yeah, so follow me on social media. I also have books available for digital download online. Search for Amazon.com for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's. I got the Exit 13 books, a series of short stories that are kind of spooky, Twilight Zone-ish stories. I got the Ravings of a Madman, which is basically like this show in a book, and longer. And I got the Bunny Years, a memoir, which is a fiction story I wrote about a B-level super or C-level superhero named Jack Rabbit. So check those out. I'd appreciate that very much. Anyway, this has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.